All right, how's it going? In this video, I really want to answer two questions. One, the first is that there is a world order that is about to change, and two, why does it matter and what to do about it? Okay, so first and foremost, I want to establish that there is a world order and that it's about to change. Okay, so throughout history, there's been several changes in the world order, many of them actually, and they happen about every 50 to 75 years on that cycle. Because of how big that cycle is, not too many people remember the last time the world order changed, which happened in 1944, just after World War II. Okay, so in World War II, before World War II, Great Britain was the dominant world power. Okay, they had the world order. Their currency was what was widely accepted and used. And so after World War II, their influence had been weakened significantly, along with lots of other countries. And so the United States emerged as the global superpower, and our currency was elected to be what the global bank used. And so we really, for that plus a lot of other factors, we were set up as the new world order, right? The American world order. All right, and so what we're witnessing right now is the end of that cycle. Okay, the American world order shows all the symptoms that it's about to change. And I say symptoms because every time there's a change throughout all the millennia, there's a handful of symptoms that have presented themselves in every case. Okay, and it's a combination of things. So this is what I'm talking about. What causes a world order to shift? Now, I'm going to list, roughly 9 or 10 things, and it's not any one of these things, but the combination of all of them presenting at the same time. Okay, so for one, there's a high level of indebtedness. We're witnessing that right now, and we've seen it before. And so again, it's not just that, but there's going to be a whole lot of these factors. So let me list some more. Right, high level of indebtedness. There's a large gap. There's a large wealth gap, large gap in socioeconomic class, and that gap is growing. There's also a large gap in values and beliefs. People are becoming more polarized, right? You just think about political parties, think about different philosophies and faiths and different styles of living, right? We're becoming, very divergent, right? You're in one bucket or the other. And there's a low level of tolerance. Okay, there's a high degree of incivility, groups of people, factions of people that do not have the ability to live and work together in unity. Okay, by the way, like different beliefs have existed forever, but what we're witnessing right now is really an inability to work together, even though someone believes differently than you. Okay, a lot of riots, a lot of mud throwing. And none of those unique things are new. It's just that it's becoming so commonplace that people aren't working together in a productive way. All right, another symptom is there's productivity declines. Okay, so obviously worldwide there's a decline because of COVID, but even before COVID there was a decline in productivity because in the United States because of other factors, including the feeling of entitledness, right, or enablement, right, like government programs that aren't run very well that just enable people, which make them lazy. They don't produce. Okay, so that's another symptom. Another symptom is the wealthy, right? We've just already talked about a growing gap between the socioeconomic classes. So there's the disappearing middle class. There's the poor people and the rich people, and the rich people see that their assets, their wealth, and sometimes their own personal lives are at risk because of growing tensions as a result of this growing gap of socioeconomic class. So they can see the tensions. The poor envy the rich and think that their wealth needs to be redistributed and that life's not fair, and so we're going to create these policies to take your wealth away and redistribute it. So they see that trend coming. And it's not just with their wealth. Sometimes they witness the riots and they're realizing that there's not a lot of actual physical protection anymore. And so they will remove their wealth and themselves from like from one place to another. Okay, so they'll start investing in different assets. They'll start pulling their money out of the U.S. economy, and they'll stop shoveling it into countries that don't have the same problems, right? Sometimes they will remove themselves, and we see this like people leaving in droves from California, right? And they're moving to places like Idaho, Wyoming, Texas, and Florida. They're just migrating away. California is not a friendly place for that socioeconomic class. And then, by the way, we're in Mexico. We're here traveling, and so we've traveled quite a bit. And just as an example, we've met people here in Mexico that are from the United States that have relocated to here permanently. We don't live here permanently, but they do, and it's a philosophy that's not uncommon to find people who don't feel like their wealth is in their personal lives are safe in the United States, and so they have moved out. All right, so that's a symptom, right? The wealthy and the productive people start leaving. Okay, and then you get some type of shock to the economy, which that's COVID. Okay, but that could also include some kind of a war, and that's what led to the last change in the world order is World War II. Just some sort of shock, some plague, some famine, some war, something like that. So all these things combined, there's all these different stressors, and they combine, and it leads to this change in world order. All right, so that's my first purpose. I want to show you that those things are happening right now in the United States. And by the way, those are the same symptoms that happened just before World War II that led to that changing world order. And it happened, before that when it was the Dutch Empire, and that, gave way and led to the rise of the British Empire. So if you look back and study through history, there's the same symptoms. And so my intent of creating this video, first of all, is to show you that this is not just something, little me is making up. It's something that has presented itself many times. Now, why is this the first time you're hearing about it? Well, the cycles are so big, 50 to 75 years. And so there's not a lot of people alive today that remember the last cycle. And so the pains that lots of people felt, because it's not a very pretty thing when there's a big upheaval and the big kid on campus gets changed, right? There's pain, there's unemployment, there's recession, there's turmoil, there's war, right? There's not a lot of people today that can remember the last time this happened. And so as a result, those lessons, it's harder for those to impact our decisions in our paradigm today. But that's why I'm recording this video, is I've studied the past. I want to make a case that this is building towards something that's happening. In my personality, if you follow me on other channels and social media, in my own business and what I do, I'm not a doomsday advocate. Okay, so that's not me, and that might be you, and that's okay, right? But that's not me. I don't go around spreading gloom and doom, but I do consider myself, to be passionate about business and finance and helping people achieve freedom. And so the more I've studied this and looked at case studies, the more I view this as a risk to the people that I want to serve, right? My tribe. And so I feel morally obligated to share with you my insights and what I'm seeing in terms of trends and what's been seen in the past. And so these symptoms can help us predict what is soon coming. Okay, so that brings the second question, why does it matter? Is because of the symptoms I observe now, the time is not far distant in which the world order will change. It must change. It's just, again, I'm not arguing on a moral stance. I'm just being the mechanic and saying this is how the system works. We're seeing these trends, therefore world order will change soon. And so business as we know it, your personal life as we know it, the American way, it will all change. It must change as a result of the changing world order. And so that's why this matters to understand this. Okay, and so watch for more, follow this channel, follow me on Instagram at Barrow Steve, follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook, I'm on all those spaces, and watch for the other videos, because really what matters to you, now that you know it's happening and you know why it matters, is because it's going to impact every aspect of your life. The next logical question is like, how do I position myself, my family? If I'm a business owner, how do I position my business? If it's like an individual and you're thinking about your retirement or your investments and things like that, like, how do you position yourself to weather this well, to weather the changing world order and all the turmoil that goes with it? How do you weather it well? Because you can look back through the past and there's lots of people who lost, wiped out, wealth wiped out. They have no hope of retirement, like gone. And then there's people who have they've weathered it really well, and they've even increased, their net wealth, and they've been able to continue living a very impactful life and serving other people, and their business is very productive, things like that. And it's all about positioning. It's all about being able to take a step back and see what's coming. Because in reality, the systems that we build to govern our lives and our businesses are all based on past lessons that we've learned. And so if nobody today has lived through the last cycle, the changing world order, your current system is not adequate, and it won't protect you. It won't shelter you from what's coming. And so my intent is just to get this message out there to help you understand what is it that you should be investing in. What type of business structure should you have if you have a business? Or if you don't have a business, how can you acquire one? How can you build one? What does this all mean? And so tune in. That's what this is all about. And so I can't wait to share it with you. Thank you.